Hey there, this is Cara from The Soft Life. I am a move abroad expert. So why am I an expert? Well, because I've lived abroad for almost 10 years. Now that doesn't mean I've stayed abroad every second of 10 years. I've come back to my home country, of course, which is America. All right, so I want to talk about something as simple as what is your lifestyle or what is your lifestyle choices? And that could mean something as simple as you prefer to drive to the store, you prefer to drive to a cafe, you prefer to drive to things, versus you prefer to walk to a cafe, walk to a market, walk to get fresh produce, or walk to the park. So these are two different lifestyles. Of course, in America, you can combine this, but it's actually much more difficult to find a high walkability type of living environment. You can find pockets, but when you live abroad, this is more the norm. All right, so why do I call this part of the soft life? Because the soft life is simply about adopting a type of life that offers less stress. Because hey, here's the deal. Life is stressful. It's always going to be stressful. So even if you strive to have a very low stress life, life happens. So picking and choosing countries that simply have more of a baseline that's just less stressful is amazing. And there are so many countries outside of what we think of as North American, Canada and America, USA type environments. All right, so I'll tell you some of my favorite things. For me, I am a city girl. I actually was raised in Kentucky. I spent my first adult years, about 13 years, my entire 20s and early 30s, in Los Angeles and Santa Monica. But before that, I was in Manhattan. I was in Brooklyn and Manhattan, and I was there for 8 years. And I became such a city girl. But actually, even before Manhattan, before I moved there for college, I was raised in the downtown area of Lexington, Kentucky. So I grew up in a very urban environment. We lived in a townhouse, we lived in a historic area. It was very walkable, and it's just a charming area. So it had some sense of that kind of European flavor where you can walk to things. All right, so fast forward to me moving abroad. I know that I prefer more of a city to a suburban type life. And if you're like me, you like to wake up and walk and get a coffee, not every morning, maybe you make it at home, but you like to walk to a coffee shop. You like to have accessibility to cafes that you simply walk to and hang out. And that's a normal part of the daily life. So this is a very European type of activity. It's very normal to get a cup of coffee, get a cup of tea, get a dessert, get something with friends. Versus where I come from, my home country, we have coffee shops, we have cafes, but they usually are only open until around 5 o'clock, unless you live in certain areas. But then most people go to bars after 5 or 6 o'clock. So for me, that's not interesting. So this might be a topic for you where you think of yourself as more of the soft life, where you like that cafe environment. You like being able to meet up with people in a cafe without it being a bar environment, especially after work hours. And I also love to be able to just simply walk to the market, get fresh produce, go to the butcher, get fresh meat, go and get fresh cheeses, go and get fresh flowers. There's that European aesthetic where you go to different markets and you shop usually every day or every other day because you're getting everything fresh and you don't have all of the chemicals and processing and artificial types of foods, which is amazing. That leads me to another thing. The soft life is definitely about high quality life, low cost living. And high quality life means access to really good fresh food. And it's very noticeable when people are in America, we can see the statistics just visually that people are so sick, they're so unhealthy. And the soft life is definitely about being in an environment where it's just normal to eat fresh food. Like, people don't even talk about it. People don't say, "Oh, that's organic," because it's just natural. People don't talk about eating low-fat yogurt or whole-fat yogurt. You just eat real yogurt, which of course would be the same stuff that comes from a regular cow. There's no low-fat cow, right? So it's whole yogurt because it's just yogurt. These are some small interesting things I've noticed. The idea that eating fresh food in many other parts of the world is just normal. You don't even have a conversation about it. Whereas in America, it's almost seemed like you're on a diet or some kind of extreme health kick because you're conscientious of not eating processed artificial foods, and you're simply only eating fresh foods or non-chemical, non-processed foods. So that's a big difference. So what are some other soft life things that I consider on this soft life list? Definitely walking more and riding a bike. In my home country, people are very used to driving everywhere. And that's why we have a lot of drive-through restaurants. You just drive through and get your food, and then people eat in their car. So this is the opposite of the soft life. The soft life is definitely about taking the time to sit down, eat a proper meal, eat fresh food, either be alone and have some serenity and some solitude, or be with people and eat together and take that time to actually eat, enjoy, and digest. And walking to places, walking to the park, walking, even if you have no destination at all, the fact that you're just walking and it's a part of your daily life, this is a huge part of what I call the soft life. Because when you have that sense of walking, and you're walking in your neighborhood, or you're walking into a different area or neighborhood, and you may become friendly with shop owners, you may just nod at neighbors that you acknowledge that are familiar, even if you don't know their names. If you have a dog, you walk your dog, or you see other people with dogs, you just simply have more of a walking lifestyle. And for me, this is such high value because I don't want to just simply sit in a car. And the opposite of the soft life is commuting. So sitting in a car, commuting for 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, it's the opposite of the soft life. The soft life is definitely if you can live close by to where you work. Of course, ideally you walk or you take a bike. If you need to take a train, like an above ground subway type train, but you're not necessarily getting into a big car, filling it with gasoline, and then sitting in that car and driving for a really long time, or eating in the car because you're in the car for so long. So this is something that's really, really huge for me, and I notice a stark difference when I'm in the US and when I'm abroad. I'm not mentioning specific countries yet. I could name many cities offhand in Europe, in the Balkans, in the Levant, in the Caucasus, in Southeast Asia, in the Far East, in the Middle East. I could name lots of places in South America and Central America. Simply noting that North America, Canada, and the United States of America have adopted different ways of life. Some are great, and then some are the opposite of the soft life. And that's where this channel hopefully is going to educate you on learning about new countries you've never even thought much about, or maybe you couldn't even really find them on a map. I know many Americans are guilty of this. They don't really know a lot of geography. So being able to become familiar with new countries and the cities within the countries and the different characteristics is something that I am really excited about sharing with you. And I always focus on lesser known countries. So we're not going to be talking about France and Germany or the Netherlands per se. There are notable things in every place. But for this channel and for what I focus on with the soft life is going to be lesser known countries. So I hope that you stick around, and if you like this kind of content, go ahead and stay for some more content, learn more about the soft life, learn if the soft life might be right for you and your spouse, your family, and come along on this ride where I help to educate you on new places, new countries, new cities, and most importantly, an ease to which you can gain a visa, a residence, and then a path to citizenship and a new passport. So diversifying, having more options, that is huge. That is the goal here with the soft life. So I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care.